My personal experience with mental health has been crazy. I started out with social anxiety when I was in elementary school, and that was undiagnosed until later on. It had already morphed into general anxiety disorder, but they did say that it used to be a social anxiety disorder. And that was really hard because being in elementary school, you know, like, that's where, like, you kind of start to socialize and, like, find your groups and everything. And I was just scared to, like, talk to new people, put myself out there, stuff like that. But, yeah, my depression kind of started my summer after my 6th grade, actually. And I just started getting really depressed because I was in gymnastics before that, and, like, I was passionate about gymnastics. I went to practice 4 or 5 times a week sometimes, and it was a lot. It kept me busy, kept my mind off things. And then once I stopped having that, yeah, my mental health just kind of went down, and for a couple years it declined. I started self-harm after 8th grade, after 7th grade, and I started more severe self-harm after 8th grade, which kind of developed into an addiction to the self-harm, which is something that totally happens. You can get addicted to self-harm. I was addicted to self-harm. Fun fact, sorry, I'm in a parking lot right now and I keep getting distracted. But, where was I? Self-harm, like, it releases, like, some kind of chemical. I don't want to say exactly what it is because I'm not sure. But it releases a chemical that kind of dulls your emotional pain so you can focus on the physical pain. And that's what I was using a lot to cope with my emotional pain, was really just self-harm, and it wasn't healthy at all. I talked to somebody for the first time in 8th grade about it, one of my best friends. The next day she came to school with this wonderful care package. It was like this little bunny. I still have him. His name is Bun Bun. But, like, a book, all this stuff. And she's like, she just gave it to me. Like, the next day, like, it was, like, it made me feel good because, like, she cared and everything like that, you know? My mental health really went on a downward spiral after 8th grade. And just kind of kept going down for about a year and a half, or a year, about, yeah. And I eventually attempted suicide in January of 2017, and I was Baker acted, put into circles of care for 5 days. It's a 72-hour hold on the Baker Act, but they put me under voluntary, which meant I was there for longer. And horrible place, absolutely horrible place. Like, the doctor there, like, wasn't nice at all. She was like, show me, like, your cuts, because at that time they were cuts, they were, like, fresh and everything. So I did, and she's like, that's disgusting, like, how could you do that? And I'm like, really? But anyway, after that, I was put into a residential treatment center called La Amistad in near Orlando, I think. And I was there for 6 weeks. I will go into more detail on that in a later video. But I was in rehab for 6 weeks for my self-harm and suicidal thoughts and behaviors. And during that time, they kind of refined my medications, put me on I was on a mood stabilizer, antidepressant, anti-anxiety, and another antidepressant / sleep aid, which I don't take anymore. But after I got out of rehab, I kind of formulated like this discharge plan before I was discharged from the facility, and it was very strict, very rigid, and it was supposed to help, but ultimately it just led to worsening my problems after rehab, after I got out, and eventually it caused so many issues that my dad and I, my stepmom, we were fighting every day. Like, we couldn't like stand each other because my mental health was like declining, and I was starting to take it out in anger instead of self-harm. And they were trying to be over controlling, stuff like that, like out of love, but like still like they were being over controlling about it because they wanted to make sure I was okay. But them doing that made me not okay, if that makes sense. Like, there's a way to handle mental health, and then there's a way to try and control mental health, and controlling it when it's not your own mental health doesn't really work out. A few months after I got out, it was beginning of my sophomore year, I went to Minnesota for a month, and I ended up staying for the school year, and it was difficult, but I made friends. I was in theater, I was on the dive and swim and dive team, whatever you want to say. And ultimately I left because there were rumors about me, and people weren't being nice to me. They were like hating on me, I guess, for like trying to be me. Like, I don't really know. I can't really remember. But so I went home, started living full-time with my mom. And since then, I've continued. I had weekly therapy for about a year and a half after I moved back in with my mom. And then it's been on an as-needed basis since then. I have been clean from self-harm for months now. Like, I've had a couple of relapses, but my last one was a few months ago. Like, yeah. And I don't know, it's just like, I've never really talked about this on camera before, so this seems really unreal to me. But I really have come far in my mental health journey, and I hope that this little like summary, tidbit, short story, whatever, kind of gives you hope, because I consider myself a happy person. And I'm very easygoing, and Bailey's back.
So sorry.
But yeah, so if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. I will definitely have more mental health videos coming up. That was actually perfect timing. I'm just finishing up the video. But give it a like, big thumbs up, and subscribe down below if you want more. Love you. Stay strong, stay happy, stay healthy. I'll see y'all next time.